Hello and welcome to the Superhero Hub. I'm Sam,
On that.
and today we're going to be reviewing.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep, the finale, World's End. So yeah, it's finally coming to an end. You've
Mm.
got, I guess, yeah. So Ghost Rider comes out, meets up with everyone. Kind of, I'm cutting a long story short here, so I'm going to stick to the kind of cool bits. The kind of Ghost Rider comes out, grabs his car, gets in a fight with Ophelia, and kind of clips her a bit, doesn't he? And her arm's kind of burnt, and she kind of spends the whole rest of the episode kind of shook because,
Yeah,
like,
as especially with, I swear that's the first time she's felt fear or pain,
yeah,
maybe both.
yeah, you've got the Darkhold kind of re-emerges, kind of in public as well. You'd think they'd have that stuff on lockdown. So
What
basically,
is the Darkhold?
it's like, oh, it's hard to explain. It's like a magic book. It's like, think of it like, a,
Like the Necronomicon or something, like Book of the Dead, evil thing.
yeah, kind of like that, except it's like kind of like mystical, I guess, in the sense of whatever you need it to do, it'll tell you how to do it. So, like, obviously, whatever, say you were Russian and looked at it, all the writing had been Russian. So if I looked at it, it'd be in English. It's kind of weird. It's like, I guess whatever you kind of need it to do, it'll tell you how to do it. So obviously she looked at it and was like, look, I need to create the framework, like, how do I do this? And then it obviously told him how to do it, so he went and did it. But it's kind of corrupting, I guess. And then obviously when Ada got it, she was like, how can I make myself human? And it kind of showed her how to do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Think of it as kind of like the devil in book form. Like, look, I need to do this, and it'll be like, look, this is what you need to do. But obviously with ill effect, because it kind of corrupts you, because it's ultimate power, I guess. You could look at it and be like, look, I want to make myself immortal, and it'd be like, oh, okay then. But I mean, it'd make you into, it'd tell you how to become a robot. It's kind of sinister in the sense that it'll tell you how to do something, but it's not the best way to do it. You know what I mean? So like, if you were like, oh, how can you make me immortal? Instead of like just giving you powers, it'll be like, look, lop your head off and put it in a jar and attach it to a robot suit. Immortal. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're gonna use that to make the changes to reality that they did in the framework, but instead of it being contained to the framework, they'll do it in the real world. So obviously, when Ada created herself, created her human body using the Darkhold to make the machine, there was a split in, like, hell, I guess. Like, a bunch of dark energy left wherever Reyes was, and it was like, look, I've got to go and get her because she's like a pure evil energy, as it were. So like, that's why he kind of gets a kind of relieved from wherever he was. That's why he's returning. So he's like, yo, I've got to take her out the game because the spirit of vengeance is hunting her. Mack and Yo-Yo whack. That was like the worst. It was like, oh, it was so annoying. It's like, I knew the kid had to vanish for him to wake up, but I was thinking, I mean, they're kind of going through there, and she's kind of, it's like a low key what everyone else was doing. She was kind of trying to convince Mack, and he weren't having any of it, and the whole of reality is collapsing around her.
Yeah, she ran into Radcliffe when she was there as well, didn't she?
Yeah, he was kind of being helpful. He kind of redeemed himself, I guess.
Yeah, because it's confusing with Radcliffe. It's like, so I suppose he never really was evil to begin with, but like the
He
Darkhold thing you're talking about
led
corrupted
him
him or something.
astray. Led him
Yeah.
astray. He was getting big ideas, and but really at like what cost? So yeah, he was kind of trying to fix things with her and him, and like, even though everything was collapsing around her, things were going missing, he was still like, I've got to stay. I was thinking, this guy's just an idiot. He was winding me up. And then kind of at the scene where they kind of everything collapses and stuff like that, and then Yo-Yo wakes up and she's like, turns over and looks at Mack and is just like still whatever under, and she was getting upset. I was thinking, this guy's an asshole. I was
And
I
it's
was
weird because there was no give for him actually coming back. I knew he was going to come back. I bet we all did, but it's like there was no moment of recognition for him showing. It was just him sat there crying,
Yeah.
and that's the last we see of it.
I thought it would have been better if he just died there and then. I thought that's what the kind of cool tear coming down his face and like he never wakes up. I thought that was sick, and then he wakes up. I was thinking, what an arsehole.
It would have had more of an
annoyed
emotional
me.
impact, but
It was just it was really annoying. He just did everything wrong. It's like, and there's like no justification. Yeah, the kid. It's like, dude, you know it's not gonna. Do you really think you're just gonna live in there forever? You know what I mean? Like they ain't gonna shut it down. It's like the guy's an idiot. So that really annoyed me. The fighting was cool. The effects, obviously. The Ghost Rider whooped a couple of the clones and stuff like that, and then Ivanov takes the book to the meeting and is trying to be like, look, we can sort out the Inhuman and S.H.I.E.L.D problem with this book, and then obviously General Talbot's just standing up like, look, what you going on about? And then Daisy walks in and pops him in the head.
Yeah, and he lives some kind of bullshit on that.
Yeah, but it's like an LMD. I was thinking, oh, whatever. So they're trying to completely discredit S.H.I.E.L.D. Ivanov catches a couple bullets, and then they kind of go down to like some room, and then there's a fight. There's like the effects were sick. I mean, when Ghost Rider went to kind of take out Ada, and she teleported off, and he was like screaming and stuff like that, like annoyed. I was thinking that was sick. That was real good. He looks so good as well. It's annoying that they could. It is kind of one of those.
That's all right. I don't think that this is the first time I've seen Ghost Rider properly. Obviously, there was Stinger at the end of the last episode. I don't dig the costume.
Well, that's kind of the Robbie Reyes costume.
Yeah, I don't think I prefer the Johnny Blaze biker outfit, but the actual Ghost Rider, the flame head on a TV budget, I thought that looked pretty cool.
See, it's annoying because his guess. You know, really, when it comes to Marvel characters, you've got to differentiate what will translate well to TV and what will translate well to film. And it's like a good character, but really, is not going to work in a film, is it?
No, and then, well, certainly not the two they've made so far.
Exactly. So I mean, it's kind of, but yeah, it's good. That's what they should do. They should have more kind of, Marvel should have more confidence in the fact that, yeah, these are big characters. Like Daredevil's a big character in the comic books, but don't like force them onto film if they're not going to work, and don't be afraid that they're not going to kind of fit their potential if you put them in a TV show either. Because I mean, Ghost Rider was a great.
He probably would better fit the Netflix model like Daredevil has. Whether they do that, I have no idea, but.
Because it's kind of along them lines as well. It's interesting whether they're recast, whether they'd have the Johnny Blaze maybe one would fit better and tie it into that, but I don't think they could have him as the thing, because it's like the continuity in terms of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and like the
Well, I suppose he could get the thing back, couldn't he, at some point?
What?
Because I didn't Johnny Blaze or some sort of Ghost Rider pass the powers on to.
Yeah.
I heard there was some sort of I don't think they mentioned him by name, but I heard he appeared in the show.
Yeah, there was a bike and stuff like that, and he did have a kind of different head to him. You know what I mean? As opposed to him with the kind of cracks and stuff like that, he just did have like the normal kind of rounded skull thing. So yeah. Yeah, the kind of team up and like Quake zapping Ivanov, that was cool, but I'm still sitting there thinking, I swear his head's still out there, so whether he lies, lie, but I don't think there's any point bringing him coming back. But whether
but I think there's a villain you can keep out there in case you wanna. I do think he's been a lot more interesting since he's been the machine thing. I wasn't into him as a human at all, but it's something you can have out there. I'll probably bring it back for an episode at some point. He's not going to be the main villain of next season, though, is he?
Yeah. So yeah, there's kind of like they kind of tempt Ophelia or Ada, whatever you want to call her, into a thing. There's a kind of bit where it's kind of like Jenna, not Jenna. Is that her name?
Gemma.
Oh, Gemma. Whoops. she gets zapped by Ada, but it's an LMD, and then there's a kind of like.
Yeah, which I saw coming, but there was a cool part to that where like Ada puts bits against the wall and then kind of like kisses him or something. Which is super creepy. I was saying that, I mean, a lot like Ivanov, she's been a lot more interesting since she's been like humanized. I think the actress did well as well, but yeah, there was no way I didn't buy it as Simmons at all.
Yeah, so then there's like a double cross, and it turns out like Phil Coulson kind of made a deal to take the spirit of vengeance into him, so he could kind of like frazzle um, Ada. That was a bit disappointing. How she kind of died and stuff like that.
It did kind of come out of, well, it's a nowhere. It kind of happened quickly, but it looked cool.
See, I don't. I think it could have looked cooler. I wanted to see the
I
flesh
don't
come
know.
off her and be a bit of a skeleton and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
Because
it can't be too graphic.
yeah, but it could
Not
look
on
cool.
ABC. It's not gonna happen, is it? I mean, I thought for what it was very cool looking.
Yeah, so they kind of. I don't think
Interesting. Like I did wonder if they do like you were talking about last week, if they do the old penance there, but obviously not.
Yeah. See, that would have been cool.
Again, does she have a soul? Will that work?
So yeah, I'm still trying to think. Did really the issues with Shield and stuff like that really get resolved? Because I think there was the Talbot thing, the whole news breaking that the Patriot wasn't an Inhuman, all that kind of leaked out and stuff like that. So I'm still thinking, is that kind of still up in the air? Uh,
Yeah, I guess it is. That the Patriot not being human, where seems to be kind of like Spider-Man in House of M, where he was pretending to be a mutant but really wasn't, and now it's all broken and all hell was broken loose. I think that's part of because there was that soldier, the female soldier, who kept snapping at the agents of Shield and saying they did it. So I guess that's the problem. I guess that hasn't been resolved, and I think the government, I think, have turned on Shield.
yeah. So yeah, they kind of go to this thing, go to a diner to get some food, and then like a bunch of like people come in that you don't see, but it's hinted they're government, and then they pull this weird little electronic thing out, pull it, and there's like green stuff, and I was thinking, does that mean something? And then you had the kind of cool scene with Radcliffe where he's on the beach and is like toasting like immortality means nothing without Agnes, and he kind of toasts, he vanishes, and the drink drops. That was sick. I like that a lot. So yeah, and then the whole "we'll be back in a minute," which I think's doofy. I hate that. You
It
know what
is,
I
but
mean?
it's the like the Marvel after credits thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but I find that real doofy. They could just flash up the shield sign, wait for like 30 seconds, then flip over to it. So yeah,
Yeah, but some people are idiots and won't watch.
yeah. So Coulson kind of um, Coulson wakes up on a kind of space station thingy. So I don't know what that's about. And then it's like, oh, enough sightseeing. Let's go back to it. Time to get back to work. I was thinking he's like the worst actor. That okay?
It's
Maybe
not the
I've got it.
worst actor, is
Maybe
it?
I've got it wrong, and like it's just the lines is given a so, but they just make this character whack. I can't stand him. I really can't stand him. Nothing's changed my mind. I still feel exactly the same in the film, and it's got like this cult following, and it's like, mate, you're whack.
I can tell it was going to be like an alien thing of some sort though, because like there were Men in Black, weren't they?
See, do you think because now they're in space, didn't like someone get abandoned on a planet or something like that?
I don't know.
Didn't Ward get like zapped off to like a
Wall's
planet?
dead.
Well, how did he die?
He got taken over by Hive, who was some sort, who was like a villain. And he kind of died there, but then Hive got killed for good. So Ward is dead and
I
gone.
swear, like a villain got ditched on like another planet and abandoned. So I don't know. Maybe I've read
Maybe
that. But if they're out in space, who knows?
the Red Skull.
So yeah, let's talk numbers.
Um, Not as good as last week, but still pretty good. I think I'll give it an eight. Uh,
Yeah, way not as good as last week. Last week was there was some sick scenes, but the Mack stuff dragged it down. And there was too much talking. The action was good. The Ghost Rider stuff was cool, but really that Mack stuff ruined the episode. But I guess they needed something to fill it out because they didn't have anything else or didn't have the budget or
yeah,
whatever. Because the CGI scenes were sick, but like really that Mack stuff is probably, apart from Phil Coulson, is probably like the second worst character on there. That stuff with flipping May and him talking about that drink and whatever, it's like it's not cool. It's
it's
just
the
not
show
cool.
though.
It's just batty. So yeah, I'm Sam,
I'm not.
and we'll see you in the next episode of whatever.